Okay, so now let's understand this code here. So this code is basically, about the part that we discussed, the tags, right? The combined code. So doc type HTML, it tells the browser this is an HTML5 and document. This HTML, the root element of HTML page, head, contains metadata about the page like the title, links to the style sheets. Title, it sets the browser tab title, and body, it contains all the visible content of the page. Now we have headings from H1 to H6. So this H1 to H6 headings, these are tags from largest to smallest. So they create a hierarchy like chapters and subchapters, and they help both users and search engines to understand the structures. Next comes up with paragraph. So here we have two paragraphs, like this is my first paragraph, and then we have the second one. This is a new paragraph, right? So P defines a paragraph of text. So paragraph automatically adds spacing before and after. Line breaks in the code, are ignored unless you use BR. Next here, line breaks we have used. P John Smith break, and then we have added the address, right? So BR here forces the text onto the next line, inside the same paragraph. And as I said, it's useful for addresses, poetry, or list where you don't want extra paragraph spacing. We have also used HR, that basically creates an horizontal line that I told you, and it's used to visually separate sections of a page. Then we have text formatting tags that we just discussed now. Here the deadline is strong. So this first text formatting tag we have used, and closing the strong. And then our company was founded in, and here we are using span. So strong, basically it will mark the text as important, usually displayed bold, right? And EM, it marks the text for emphasis, usually displayed italic. And span, generic inline container for styling, like no semantic meaning. So here it wraps to 005, right? And tags can be combined, like strong, EM, text, as I have written strong EM, right? And then text, and then closing EM, and then closing strong, like to apply multiple effects, right? So there is a key tip when choosing, between these tags. Even I have added here. Always ask EM, like, am I changing the meaning or just the appearance? Okay, this EM. Always decide, cementing meaning versus visual style. You can use strong or EM for meaning and span for styling only. So now let's see the output. So let's say I am saving it as tags.html. Okay, let's see the output. So, so as you can see here the output. So basically here, first title, right? Okay. So title was, we said the title. So it was, let's go with the code again. Title was text formatting examples, right? So we have our title here. Mm, yeah. So we have our title here, text formatting example, right? You can check it, right? So the browser tab will have shown you this particular form of text over here. Next, main heading and introduction. Then we have an H1, right, heading example, like text formatting in HTML, and then we have a small paragraph learning how to use cementing and formatting tags, and cementing. Here we have used strong, so that is why it is in bold, right? So large, bold heading, and paragraph, as I told you. So it's a normal text, like no styling applied in this version. And then we was having six headings. First one was my travel blog, trip to New York, then day one, then morning activities, then Central Park, and then fountain, right? So this headings, you can see the text will go smaller because these are the subheadings, right? So my travel blog, this is the largest heading, right? Then slightly smaller, smaller again, smaller still, smaller, and smallest heading. So each heading is progressively smaller and visually shows the hierarchy, right? Next, we have a paragraph example over here. So these are two, add two separate boxes, text blocks. So spacing automatically added between the two paragraphs. We use line breaks inside the code, they are ignored. So text appears as one continuous block per paragraph. And next was line break example where we use BR, right? So you can see BR forces each line to start on a new line. Still a single paragraph, like no extra spaces between lines. And then we used horizontal rule, the HR, adding a line about us. So the horizontal line, appears across the page. Visually separates the sections like about us and our services, right? Next, we have text formatting, tags. So this basically, the deadline is, tomorrow at 5 p.m. So this after is we used strong, right? So that's why it's in bold. And then please make sure to review, right? Review in italic because we use EM, right? And then 2005, same as normal text, no CSS applied. And then combining tags, bold and italic, we use strong and EM together, right? So that's why bold because we use strong and italic because we used EM as well. Then there was a key tip, that we use, like when choosing between these tags, always ask, so this quoted text is in italic to emphasize the tip, right? Rest of the paragraph is normal text. So big main heading introduces the topic, then there is an heading hierarchy that shows the structure. Then there is a paragraph like readable blocks of text, then line breaks, addresses and poetry properly formatted. Horizontal rules like separating the content sections and then using strong and EM that shows the semantic emphasis, and then span that's placeholder for styling. So this is how each element appears visually, in the browser, and how you can use different form of tags, break, HR, in HTML for creating a simple web page. I hope every one of you understood it.